So my name is Ian Weber, and my 2-minute telestory project was on my father, who is a professional welder and repair technician for welding equipment. I chose my subject because welding is a very interesting and visual art form. I wanted something that was going to be very visual and able to really see the process of what goes on behind the scenes of creating a project, especially with the process of using things such as the welder, the torch, using things like the lathe, the grinding and the sanding and the buffing. I wanted to have all those different things, and since it's such a visual way of art to create things with, I wanted to really do something special with it. So that's why I chose welding in particular. And I chose my dad because he's always had this passion for welding and creativity. It's where I get a large majority of my creativity from, is from my father. And so he's always been kind of an inspiration to me to kind of just create things and do what I really enjoy doing at the end of the day. I learned that you have to improvise things a lot of the time. You see, I had one shot that was like a dragging shot of him working at the lathe, and in order to do that shot, I took 2 paint cans and then I put a piece of plywood on top of it with a weight, and then I attached the camera to the other end and I just slowly pulled the plywood across. And I did that because I already had like 2 other pans, so I didn't really want to do another pan. I wanted to add a little bit more variety in, so I thought, oh, it'd be really cool if I got a kind of like a gliding shot, you could call it, per se. And I wanted to get that kind of gliding shot, so I wanted to improvise something, and so that's what I came up with to make it nice and smooth, to make it look good in post for myself. And then another large thing I learned was I have to work with what I had. One of my lighting umbrellas was a little bit broken, so what I did was I purposely angled it a little bit so that the light was still coming onto him. It was just one of the little the metal hooks that holds up the umbrella and makes it fully open was a little bit bent, so I kind of just bent that into place, makeshifted it, and made sure it worked out really well, and at the end of the day it looked really good. I wish that if I could change something about my project, I wish that I could have maybe included some of my dad's actual final works. The thing was that we only had a day to film, really. It was the weekend that I was with him. I really wish that I could have actually gotten maybe possibly some shots of some of the finished products of work that he's done, because all you really see in the video is him working. I wish that I could have maybe gotten some shots of his finished projects, such as some of his picture frames that he's made. He's also made things like little spoon holders that are on my grandmother's stove. He's also made this giant metal sign that he made for my grandmother, and it hangs on her garage. I really wish I could have gotten some shots of that. I could have included photos, but I feel like photos might have thrown it off a little bit. I wanted more visual, like moving shots in my piece. What I enjoyed most about working on this project was I really enjoyed just getting to know my dad. You know, I've known my dad because of course he's my dad, you know, but I never really fully asked him, you know, what got him into welding and things like that. And I actually learned some things about him while on set that day in his garage. I learned that he actually did go to LCC for a little bit, and he took some welding classes, and he's still in contact with some of his instructors from those times. And he's been doing this for, as far as I can remember, he's been doing this stuff since the 90s, you know. He's been very involved in welding and the creative art forms, and when I kind of picked his brain about it, I really learned kind of how his mind processes things. And you know, I've been out there in the garage when he's been working before, and I've helped him out, but he doesn't really say much. He just kind of does stuff like, hand me that wrench, or I need you to turn that air compressor on, you know. Like, I got to kind of learn a little bit of the process of like, okay, I'm doing this for this certain reason, you know. I'm heating the metal so that I can bend it into the shape I want. You know, it's just a very involving creative mindset project, and that he does, and it's just really inspiring to see how he works, and it really inspires me to create the best things that I can create. I guess just the main thing is that welding is just super involving. It's always going to evolve. There's always going to be new techniques to do it, and the fact that my dad is kind of stuck to his older school techniques of what he learned back from when he was a kid and from when he was a young adult, learning the things that he did has been really inspiring. And one of the lines that really stood out to me when I asked him is that he said he basically learned this stuff for free, and he wants to have others be able to learn these things for free as well. And just the fact that he wants to teach these things is just really inspiring, and it's just something that I'm probably going to want to learn someday. You know, I feel like it could be very beneficial to me to learn some of the things and the tricks and the tools of the trade that he has learned after all these years.